What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. As you can see, we are once again down to the basement. Honey, I am so tired of being down here, but it is the one and only space that I can get all of my seed starting and gardening needs done inside the house. Otherwise, it becomes like a complete mess. Anyways, let's talk today about some of the seeds that I will be getting ready to sow in this upcoming week. So we are officially 5 weeks out from our final frost here in Central Ohio, Zone 6A. And that means that I am within my window to start cold loving crops. I can direct sow or I can transplant here in these upcoming weeks. So I just wanted to go over what I am doing to prepare for that, and then some varieties that you can start if you are also in a similar zone as mine. So let's first start with the varieties that I have already started indoors. That way they will be ready to go out to transplant as soon as they are up and happy. First things first is kohlrabi. I have 2 varieties that I'm growing this year, which is the purple Vienna and this is the early white Vienna. Kohlrabi is extremely cold loving. Right now out in my garden, that is like the one and only crop that I did not provide any cover for. I planted late fall last year and they are all still holding on strong. I don't believe that they'll actually bulb up. I think that they'll just end up going to seed. But when you see these plants, I mean, they are completely happy and healthy. So I'm really excited to get some of these guys in the ground. That way I will have a nice spring harvest. The next things that I have already started are beets and rutabaga. So rutabaga I have never successfully grown, so this will be another another effort towards trying to harvest a rutabaga. So I decided to start them indoors because in the past I've always started them directly. So I'm hoping that the little early jump start on it will help me, you know, actually get to a harvest with my rutabaga. But this is just the American purple top here. And I have quite a few varieties of beets. So the first one that is brand new to me is the Blushing Not Bashful beet. It is a white with like pink flesh. It kind of reminds me of like the watermelon radish. So I'm excited to try this out. It says that it is very sweet and it says that it is very sweet and easy to grow. We gonna see. Next up, we have the Early Wonder beet. This one is supposed to be able to be harvested within 48 days. So I definitely wanted to sow some of those. I absolutely love beets. I also did a gourmet blend, which has a blend of Detroit Dark Red, Chioggia. I think that's how you say that. I don't know. It's the one with like the stripy rings on the inside. And then Golden, which is a yellow fleshed, oh, you can see it there, yellow fleshed beet. And then finally I also sowed some cylindrica beet because, you know, who doesn't just love a regular old yellow? And the shape here is pretty unique. I've never grown these before either. So I'm really excited to try out some of the newer varieties and just having beets in my garden in general. The next thing, of course, lettuce is something that I needed to, let me be real with y'all. So remember we started lettuce and they were all doing well in those little peat pots and all of that. I got really impatient and I'm also running out of space on this situation here, and I decided to put them under my little cover, which is like a miniature greenhouse situation, and we're gonna see if they survived. I don't think that they did because it got, I mean, right now it's only 31 degrees. Yesterday it got as low as 17 degrees. I don't think that they were strong enough for all of that. We're gonna see how they fare, but just in case, I decided to sow more lettuce, specifically just this one type, because this guy will last all summer long. I've grown this many times before. This is the Marvel of Four Seasons, and it is known to be really, really good, or really heat tolerant. That's what I'm going for. So I'm excited to have some more of this, and I may end up picking out one more variety. I'm thinking a butter crunch. What y'all think? That's what I'm thinking. All right, and also to prepare for sowing, I went on ahead and soaked my peas. I can't recall whether or not I mentioned this in another video, because I actually started soaking them when I started my tomato starts. But I have two varieties here. I have the Oregon Sugar Pod, and then the Sugar Magnolia, which is actually seed that I saved from last year's harvest. In addition to the peas, to get those ready, I need to soak them, but I'm also going to be soaking my nasturtium seed as well. These do really well if you pre-soak them and then just directly sow them. I might end up starting them in these little pea pellets. I love these things, and I mean, they're just easy if you want to get like a kickstart on like some of your, you know, cold weather crops. They don't have to be in there very long, and they transplant out without using a lot of resources. So that's what I'm thinking I might do with these guys. I don't know, we'll see. But I have three varieties here. I have the Cherry Rose Jewel. I have a climbing nasturtium, which I plan to put on my arch trellis, and that is called the Amazon Jewel. Then I have Alaska Variegated, which is, I mean, an absolutely stunning display of flowers. And since we're on the topic of flowers, I also will be starting more calendula. I actually did winter sow some, and I'm pretty sure seed probably direct sowed itself or volunteered itself out in my garden, but I want to make sure that I have some for sure. So I'm gonna start at least, you know, a good handful of these to just kind of pop them in here and there to kind of act as like a trap crop, because this specific variety, the Resina, the stems just have like a really, really high resin content, and I mean, all the aphids just cling on there. So definitely going to be starting some more of this. And then the final seeds that I do need to start before I, you know, transplant it outside is kale. So I don't have just a whole lot of kale seeds started, so I'm thinking that if I do this blend, I'll have a good variety, and maybe I'll separate out like one plant to kind of like, you know, allow it to grow to a bigger size. But yeah, definitely some kale. All right, as far as direct sowing, there are two things that I can direct sow right now. One being carrots, of course. So I did do like our little DIY project, starting seeds for carrots. So far, those aren't showing any sign of germination. I think that I need to be watering them more frequently. So I'm hoping that with the cold, the seeds didn't rot. You know, let's hope not. So I'm going to continue to use that same area and sow in some Danvers carrots and then some Atomic Reds. Just going with like 2-3 basic varieties. I'm not going too crazy or, you know, whatever, because I don't know how it's going to go. So those are the two that I'm going for. And then of course radishes, and I have 4 varieties here. So the first one is a white radish variety, a Japanese Minowasi. Girl, I can't pronounce stuff. Don't even laugh at me. But it's a daikon radish, which I love to use for kimchi or just like pickled vegetables. I'm excited to have those growing soon. I have some watermelon radish, some champion radish, and then China Rose is another larger variety, such as the daikon radish. In addition to all of these seeds, right now would probably be a good time for me to prep my potato bags for planting. Potatoes can withstand like a mild frost. So at this point, I want to say in the upcoming week, everything is starting to clear out. I think I'm just going to wait and see how things go, but I am going to prepare my bags for my potato growing. And lastly, I did go on ahead and restart some more cabbages because pretty much all my cabbages like have fizzled out. I think that I put them out in my little greenhouse way too soon. I believe the frost got them a little too hard. So I went on ahead and restarted more of the Red Acre, the Mermaid's Tail, and Copenhagen. If you guys are interested in what those look like, definitely just look back at my original brassica starting video. But yeah, you can see these guys are a little leggy. Soon enough, I will up pot them like once they get some true leaves. But that's all we got going on for now. And then as for how I sowed my beets, I just used one of these like more shallow trays here, filled it with soil, and then just poked holes and popped my beets in. I don't know how beets transplant, if I'm being honest. I've typically always have direct sowed them. So I figured if I put them in like a situation like this, it will be easier to like prick them out. I don't know if it makes a difference. You guys let me know. All right, you guys, this is going to wrap up this video. Hopefully you guys enjoy these updates of what I'm starting, when I'm starting them. If you have enjoyed, please make sure that you go on ahead and take the time to subscribe to my channel because there is going to be so much more ahead in this year's growing season. I thank all of you guys so much for stopping by. I wish you all health, wealth, and prosperity. And until the next video, peace.